videos as the house where that goes from when the house was just land to little progress to the house that we live in now. Hey guys, it's Pamela Frilot. So I have been doing a lot of fitness content on this channel, and this channel is about fashion, fitness, finance. So I am super excited to do a video more on the finance end of things. So today's video is going to be about how my husband and I bought a house when I was 24 and he was 25 at the time. So as you can see, I'm filming in this house that I'm talking about. So if you guys want a tour at some point of the house, just be sure to stop and comment below right now so that I know. So anyway, let's get straight into the video. So for the video, I'm going to be covering how our financial journey looked like in the beginning, when and how we decided to get a house, how we went about saving for the down payment and everything. So I guess I'm just going to walk you guys through our life a little bit and kind of like explain the decision to get the house, how we went about getting it and everything. So initially, we started off. So if you've ever, I have a video up already about how I saved 13K in less than a year. So if you've watched that or know, I normally help a lot of friends with budgeting and everything as well. And then one of the main things that I'm a huge advocate for is downsizing when you need to, so for a bigger purpose. So of course, one of the best ways that I know is downsizing as far as living wise. Basically, if you're living in a place where it's too expensive for the goals that you have in the future, then just get a roommate or move into a less expensive apartment or something like that. And for me personally, of course, like everybody is different. So if like having a roommate is something that you can't even imagine doing, then find a different way to save that extra cash for the bigger purpose. So for me, that's one of the main things that I did. So I went ahead and we started off living in a 4x2, which is pretty much 4 bedrooms with 2 bathrooms. So this is like back in his college days. So it was more of like a college dorm at the time. So at the time he was in school getting his master's. I was already done with my bachelor's and working. So we were living in a 4x2, and then my friends were like, oh, this is such a small space and it's crazy. But for me, and that's the whole personal, based off of your personal preferences, write down everything that you have going on and see where you can cut costs at. So for me, I don't really mind living with a lot of people or whatever. So for me and my personal preferences, that was a good way to save. So we ended up, basically our rent was crazy cheap. It was like almost non-existent. So that gave us an opportunity to save a lot of money. So that happened. And then when he finally got done with school and he started working, we moved into a 2x2 apartment. So with that was also great because it was like based on, now that we both had a decent income coming in, we could have and especially living in Texas, we could easily afford living in a luxury apartment. But we were like, okay. So at that time, that was when we were saving up for a wedding. So with that being said, we were like, okay, it will be a great way to live in a 2x2 in a not so luxurious neighborhood, so we don't have to touch our savings in order to save for this wedding. So living in that apartment living in a 4x2 allowed us to like save for the wedding, and living in a 2x2 allowed us to save for the house. So anyway, with that being said, this video isn't really fully about the savings, so I'll share a little tip here and there about savings. But if you guys want a full video about savings, let me know and I'll make a video about savings. I actually plan on at some point soon, because during this quarantine time, I've been able to save a bit over 20K in just a few months. So I'll make a video about that and give you guys tips on how to save and all this other stuff. So with that being said, one of the main things was downsizing an apartment. So that's what we did. And then also sometimes money comes in and goes. So if you don't budget stuff, it's hard to keep track of exactly where your money is going. So I went ahead and did just that. I budgeted for his money coming in. I budgeted for my money coming in and where we're gonna allocate those payments. So I was like, okay, so the plan, I knew that I always wanted to get a house, and so did he. We didn't want to like keep spending money on an apartment. So the plan was to live in that 2x2 in that not so nice neighborhood for a year, and then be able to like kind of live the luxury apartment life for a year, and then move into a house. So that's what we did. So we lived in the 4x2, then we lived in the 2x2, and then we were able to find a really nice apartment that was also pretty affordable. And so we moved into that, and we did that for a year. So that was our process, our living situations getting into the house. So as far as the house is concerned, I knew that I wanted a brick house. I don't know, it's just, I really don't have any ups and downs. I'm not a housing expert. It's just a preference. After seeing the different types of houses out here in Texas, I just was leaning more towards a brick house. So we went on, I think, a couple house tours, and then I wasn't really feeling any of the houses. And then he did most of the search. He normally would just show me pictures. I'm like, oh, this look nice, or no. So he did more of the back work. So he came and he was telling me about this new up and coming neighborhood out here in Texas. He was like, oh, we get to like build our own house from the ground up, all this other stuff, pick everything. So I had never realized how much actually goes into building a house until this whole process. So they gave us an estimate. I think they gave us a 6 months estimate of when the house will be built. So initially we came to the neighborhood. We met the leasing person. He walked us around the neighborhood, and he showed us different. So there are a house that it's a really new, all the houses in our neighborhood have just been built. So when we were first moving, some of the houses had been built, but there was a lot of like empty spaces. So he showed us around. So the first process is we picked a plot. So we picked the plot for the house, and that's it. So then we came back and we did a session, I think a 4-hour session with the interior design person so we picked out everything. We picked out little blocks on the walls. We picked out the doors. We picked out every single detail of the house. So if you guys, again, there's a lot of different stuff that went in. As far as the house being built itself, my husband actually, he would drive to the housing spot like every week. And then he has little videos and stuff. So he has videos as the house where that goes from when the house was just land to little progress to the house that we live in now. So I might actually like put up a video to show the process about how it went from just land to the house that it is now. They gave us 6 months, but and then there are like, of course, depending on whether it could be earlier or later. So in our case, it ended up being earlier. So the house ended up being built in less than 6 months. And also as far as picking out different stuff that goes into the house. So the house come with different basic stuff, like everything. So if you stick with all the basic stuff, then the house come out at a certain price, but you can choose to upgrade different things. So one of the things that we upgraded, as you can see, that we have hardwood floors. The house didn't initially come with it, so that had to be an upgrade. And then you can't really see, maybe if I do a house tour I'll show more of that, but in the back there are backsplash of the kitchen, but that's another thing that I remember that we did an upgrade on. And then we did an upgrade on a couple of things in our master bathroom as well. So it's like it comes with the base that's included in the price, and you can pay a little more for different upgrades. So like I said, if I'll probably talk more about the actual choosing and building the house process later. So that's that as far as the building process of the building of the house process. And I guess the last thing is like the financial aspect of it. So the financial aspect of it, if you have specific questions, I'm more than open to disclose anything. But just to keep it general, we just ended up putting, for me personally, after I did the math, it just made sense for us to put a lot down so it can save us a couple thousands in the long run. So we made sure that we saved a lot of money. It ended up making our mortgage a lot lower, and it just ended up making, in the long run, also we're gonna be saving a lot by putting a lot more money down. And then as far as our mortgage, I'm super excited for it because right now our mortgage is kind of like equivalent to a 2-bedroom rent in the luxury apartment that we stayed in. So that's not bad at all. So anyway, that is it for this journey. And again, thank you guys so much for always watching and supporting. And let me know if you guys have any questions, and let me know if you guys want me to do a house tour at any point. And yeah, I really like talking about this. There's literally a lot of different parts to cover. So any question that you have at all, let me know and I'll do a video on it if need be, because right now I can't remember if I'm missing anything, or I can't think of anything else that I didn't cover. So anyway, that is it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye, guys.